Hello, and welcome to Verblang. Hi there, I'm teacher Oakley, and for the
Hello.
next hour, hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, Heidi, I can hear you.
Oh, I can't hear you.
Well, it was still loading
No,
when you.
nothing.
Can you hear me?
Nothing.
Okay. Hang on.
Can you hear me? No.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Andrew, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Ah,
Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear, Andrew.
Too loud?
No, you're perfect, actually. No problem.
Okay.
I guess Heidi's having problems hearing me.
yeah, I can hear you now.
You can. Okay.
Yeah, before only I thought your mouth was moving.
Okay. Okay. We're all set then. Okay. Welcome to the class, everyone. Welcome to Verbling. Okay. What we're going to be looking at for the next hour is just pretty simple. We're going to be looking at transitive versus intransitive verbs. What does that mean? And we'll practice giving examples of both. Some verbs and even phrasal verbs can be only one or the other, transitive or intransitive, but most verbs, depends on the situation and the meaning, the context, can be either. And we're going to examine that and practice forming sentences. So, okay. All right. Hello, Heidi. How are you today?
Hello, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Very big gift came from Philippines yesterday.
What's that? A giant typhoon?
It passed through Japan.
Yeah.
So last night it was very noisy outside. I couldn't sleep well.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you very much.
You're welcome. No problem. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And thank goodness the typhoon season is almost over. Maybe that will be the last one. I'm hoping.
Oh, really?
Well, it's that time of year. Hopefully it's over. Hello, Andrew. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Nice to see you again. Hello, Anastasia.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How have you been?
I've been busy, but now I'm just back to urban classes. So happy to be here.
All right. Well, great to have you back. Nice to see you again.
Thanks.
Hello, Alejandro. Welcome. Good to see you again as well.
Hello, teacher.
Hello. Loud and clear. Sounding good. And hello, Max. Howdy.
Hello, teacher Oakley. Hello, everyone.
Hi there.
Hi, Max.
Okay. Terrific. Okay. All right. Let's talk about transitive and transitive verbs. I'm going to do a little screen share here. Depending on the type of object, or really, well, this is sort of, I just noticed this. This is not really correct. Depending on the type of object they take, verbs may be transitive, intransitive, or linking. Okay, in a way. Okay, a transitive verb is incomplete without a direct object, which is to say, transitive verbs take an object noun. All right, a verb, of course, okay, can be stative or dynamic. A dynamic or an action verb will, of course, be transitive because it needs an object. The boy kicked the dog. The dog is a noun. It's the direct object. It's the object noun. Okay, when I think of an object, I think of a noun, I think of object noun, but I suppose what they mean is that simply put, when we have an intransitive verb, it doesn't take a noun object. It often, usually, will be followed by a prepositional phrase which works as an adverb. It works as an adverbial clause. It somehow defines or talks about the verb. Maybe where something is, whatever, in the bathroom. Maybe when something is at 12 o'clock. Or possibly purpose. But an intransitive verb doesn't have an object noun. That's the main point. A linking verb, on the other hand, which we're not really going to talk about today, but you should know this, so I mention it while I'm thinking of it. A linking verb doesn't take an object noun, and it doesn't use an adverbial or an adverbial clause. What it does take, an adjective. The man seems angry. Okay, the verb seems here is followed by an adjective. Angry, not a noun, not an adverb. Working on the verb, but an adjective. Linking verbs, there's not that many. It could be the verb to be. Well, for example, he is angry, or seems or appears are linking verbs, or many of the sensory verbs. He smells funny. Okay, he smells funny. That's I'm using smells as a linking verb. It's linking with an adjective. So very basically, there you go. That's the difference. Again, we're going to look at examples, and you guys are going to form sentences. Again, one more time. Here we go. Transitive verb takes a noun direct object. An intransitive takes some kind of adverb or adverb clause, like a prepositional phrase. Most often a prepositional phrase. And a linking verb takes an adjective. Okay. Any questions so far? We'll get headed into examples, and you guys can form sentences. After I say hello to William. Hello, William.
Hello, Oakley. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Are you done running around your house?
Yes, with my daughter. Is her milk, and
Oh yeah.
is on the floor and running to to drive with a cloth.
There you go. Her milk is on the floor. Her milk is on the floor. Oh my gosh, there's an intransitive verb sentence. Okay, where the verb to be can be transitive, intransitive, or linking. William, in his desperation to clean up after his daughter, has given us a perfect example of using the verb to be as an intransitive, on the floor, prepositional phrase, where it is. That is helping to describe the verb. Very good, William. And thank you, William's daughter. Okay, great. Okay. Let's look first specifically at transitive verbs here. This is an incomplete thought. Now, of course, a sentence must have a subject noun and must have a verb. That's all it actually needs, but one more thing. What else? Open question to the class. What else does a sentence need to have? It needs a subject noun, and it needs a verb, and what else? Anyone in the class?
Noun. Noun.
No, it does not need to have an object noun. because intransitive verbs do not, and neither do linking verbs.
No, I
What?
mean about transitive verb.
A transitive verb. Yes, a transitive verb needs a noun. That's right. But a sentence,
Yeah.
any sentence in English, needs to have a subject, like the shelf, a verb, like holds. But this does not make sense. This does not make sense. It's not a sentence because it doesn't make sense. It's not a complete thought. Okay. A sentence must be a complete idea that makes sense all by itself. So in this case, it's a transitive verb because the shelf holds makes absolutely no sense. If I just turn to you at the bus stop and say, the shelf holds, you're going to think I'm some kind of a spy or something. I'm giving you a secret code because what I'm telling you makes absolutely no sense. So the shelf holds makes no sense. That's why it can't possibly be a sentence.
What does it hold?
Yes, what does it hold? We've got to make it a complete sentence. We have to talk about what it holds. That's exactly right. In this case, in this example, 3 books and a vase of flowers. Okay, so we have a subject noun. We have our transitive verb, which needs to have an object, and then we actually have 2 object nouns, 3 books and a vase. Okay, there you go. So the reason it doesn't work without an object noun is just plain and simple. It doesn't make sense. It's not a complete thought, cannot be a sentence. But that's my point. Okay, another example, the committee named. Named what? Doesn't make sense. To complete it, we need an object noun. The committee named a new chairperson. The child broke. Okay. That almost makes sense if the child shattered into pieces. But children don't normally do that, so that doesn't make sense. All right, the child broke the plate. Okay. Very simple. Let's have you guys give me an example of a sentence with a transitive verb that needs to have an object. Just keep it simple. Don't hurt yourselves. Let's try this out. Heidi, you were first in. Why don't you go first? Okay.
I put some coffee on the table.
Wait. I put some coffee. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah, you're fine. Coffee has 2 F's, right? Okay. Okay, and actually, all right, thank you for this example. I is the subject, put is the verb, and then we have a quantifier, some, and the noun, coffee. So this is the object-noun construction, the direct object. But Heidi also graced us with a prepositional phrase. Just because it has a prepositional phrase does not mean it's intransitive. The prepositional phrase is added information. All right? We still have a direct object. So, okay, thanks for helping me point that out. Just because it has a prepositional phrase does not mean that it isn't transitive. Okay, great. Andrew? Give me any sentence you would like with using a transitive verb, please.
Okay. The picture hangs on the wall.
Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Now wait a minute here, Andrew. We do, in fact, have a subject. We have a verb, but then it's followed by a prepositional phrase, which actually says something about hangs. It says where it hangs. This is working as an adverbial clause. This is actually an intransitive. This is an intransitive verb. There is no object noun. Okay? So this is an example of an intransitive sentence. You want to try again with a transitive? An action happens to a thing, directly to that thing, like some coffee. The child broke the plate. The committee named a new chairperson. So this is intransitive here.
So it should be without an object, or with object?
It must have an object noun. Okay, your sentence is, well, the object of the verb is really an adverbial clause. It's followed by an adverbial clause on the wall, with a prepositional phrase here, which is functioning in that way. It's modifying the verb.
Okay. The cashier gives.
Okay.
Money.
Money. Okay. Wondering what she was giving. Okay. Simple enough. All right. Direct, very subject, verb, object. All right. That's it. That's it. Exactly. The verb needs to be followed by a noun. That's the idea. Anastasia.
Okay. She wrote a story yesterday.
Whoops. Why the? Sorry. She, object, subject, wrote a story. Okay. Fine. Yep. Subject, she, verb, wrote, and followed by an object noun. A story, and then, sure, a little time clause, no problem. Very good. Alejandro.
The car needs some oil.
Excellent. The car needs some oil. Perfect. Great. Some oil is our direct object noun. Excellent. Okay, William.
I don't know. My daughter jumps on the sofa.
Yes, so does mine. Okay. Well, no, hang on here. My daughter jumps on the sofa. Okay, actually, once again, we have the subject and then the verb, but followed by a prepositional phrase. So this is also intransitive. The verb is you're using the verb as in intransitive verb. Okay. All right, because it's saying where she jumps. Okay. Want to try another one? William? What else does your daughter do?
Yes. I don't know. I don't know the difference between intransitive and on transitive.
Okay. All right. Well, let's look at what we have here. I put is the verb, and then some coffee. Coffee is a noun. All right.
Yes.
The picture hangs on the wall because we have a prepositional phrase on the wall. This is a preposition. Every prepositional phrase is going to have a noun. It has to. Okay. Prepositional phrases also require a noun. But this is one entire structure. It's not an object noun. It's just a noun in a prepositional phrase. So this is intransitive. The picture doesn't hang on something. The action doesn't happen to something. It just happens somewhere. Here's another way to think about it, okay? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So on the wall, it is just additional information.
Yes, it is. That's right. about.
So there should be a certain object.
That's right. There should be an object noun for a transitive verb. Okay, the boy kicked the dog. What? Okay, what did the boy do? Okay, or see, when the additional information is where or when, it's going to be an intransitive. The cashier gives what? She gives
I
money.
learned English is transitive.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I learned English.
I learn English. Well, yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, there you go. Okay. I learn what? English. Okay. The child broke what? The plate. The committee named what? A new chairperson. The shelf holds what? 3 books. All right. The cashier gives what? Money. She wrote what? A story. The car needs what? Oil. If you can answer what with an object noun, then you most certainly have a transitive verb sentence.
Thank you
Okay.
for your clarification.
Well, thank you for your questions. You're just helping me. I appreciate it. Max, your turn.
I made a cup of tea.
Excellent. Whoops. Cup of tea. Okay, very good. I made a cup of tea. All right. All right. There we go. That's it. Now, let's examine the intransitive verb. On the other hand, cannot take a direct object, a noun. For example, all right, this plant has thrived. Nice present perfect tense verb. Where? Oh, it's answering the question where, on the south windowsill. All right, very good. Thrived. Heidi, do you know what thrived means? Interesting word. Are you thriving?
I don't know.
Heidi, are you thriving?
Yes, grow up. Grow up.
Yeah, well, yeah. Grow strong and healthy, extremely healthy and extremely strong.
Yeah.
Are you thriving?
No.
No.
Twisted.
Okay.
Thread and twisted.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, just to introduce you to the vocabulary, a company is thriving if it's making lots of money and making lots of profit. William's daughter is thriving if she's growing like a weed, we say in English. She's growing very fast and strong. All right. So, okay, there you go. This plant, that's the subject, has thrived is the verb construction, regardless of how many auxiliary verbs, or if it's present perfect continuous or passive perfect whatever, future, it doesn't matter. That's the verb construction. But then it's what comes after is answering the question where, not what. So this is an intransitive. Has no direct object. The prepositional phrase on the windowsill acts as an adverb, or really an adverb clause, describing where. Okay, that's it. All right. The sound.
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead, please.
See and watch, we need to have some object. But how about look? Look, we need to add. So is it intransitive?
Look. Okay. All right, well, let's look at look, since you bring it up. Okay. Because we have to, you're saying because we always co-locate look with at, right?
Yeah.
Okay, look at the donkey, for example. Okay, now this is where it gets tricky. Now this is an excellent question, actually, Did the action, the man looked at what? Okay. This is very tricky. Heidi brings up an excellent question here. Why? Because we have to be aware of phrasal verbs in English, which there are roughly a gazillion. Okay, so if you have a phrasal verb, you have to be aware that it's a, okay. How about this? To give you another example, which may be more clear. The man put on. The man put on his clothes. Okay. The man is the subject, but the verb construction really is put on. Not just put and then on his clothes. This is not a prepositional phrase. This is a phrasal verb. This is the verb, put on his clothes. Same thing here with the donkey and the man. Okay? Looked at is actually considered a phrasal verb. It's a very good question, and this is understandably very easy to confuse us, myself included, not just you guys, but yeah, you have to kind of think about it. Is it still, I can think about it this way, the man put on what? Or the man put where? On his clothes? That doesn't make sense. He put where? On his clothes? That doesn't make sense. It's still answering the question what? What did he put on? Okay, the man looked. Okay, now this is trickier. Heidi's example is actually more difficult to consider because I could think the man looked where? At the donkey. Okay, the man looked at what? He looked at the donkey. It kind of works both ways if I consider the where or the what question. Right?
That means it's
Very, very tricky.
transitive, including the preposition. We need to think about that, about connected, looked at. Then
That's
what?
right.
Then transitive, still transitive.
Right. Okay, wait. See, let me change it a little. Hang on. Okay, looked up. Okay, now, okay. Now, I was going to say he looked up into the sky. He looked up in the sky, but I can't do that. He looked up the sky. I can't really do that. I actually have to put into the sky. He looked up into the sky. Now it's where. So this is intransitive, this sentence. And again, it's because the phrasal verb looked up. So this gets very tricky. All right. The man, if I use a different, so if I use looked up as the physical, using your eyes to look in a certain direction. Okay, well, that's the definition. Look in a direction, so it's going to be intransitive. But of course, if I change the phrasal verb, the man looked up some information. In the more abstract meaning of the phrasal verb to search, the man looked up some information. Well, here it's clearly transitive. It's looked up what? Some information.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so it is tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you raise a very interesting and delicate point. It gets particularly tricky with the phrasal verbs. No joke. So you really kind of have to think about it. Okay. Okay, another example, much the same as the earlier one. The sound, the choir. Now notice, okay, we have a prepositional phrase, but attack describing the subject now. All right, carried, and again, it's where? Through the cathedral, not what. Carried, the sound of the choir carried. Now, obviously, again, like my looked up, obviously the verb carry can mean a sound that goes very far. The echo carried for miles. For miles, okay. It's always intransitive when you use it that way. But obviously it has a very simple transitive use too. The boy carried a basket. Obviously, if you carry something in your arms, the boy carried, well, it has to be transitive. There has to be an object that you carry, logically speaking. So again, it does get tricky because verbs can be both transitive and intransitive with different definitions. Okay, here's one that answers the question of when. All right, the train. Again, from Montreal, prepositional phrase describing the subject. Arrived, here's your verb, 4 hours late. So this, when did the train arrive? The train arrived when? 4 hours late. So this is one that's, okay, you have a time clause, which is clearly describing when with the verb. When did they arrive? Okay. Again, this arrived here is intransitive. How could you possibly make arrived into a transitive sentence? Is that even possible?
Yeah,
Andrew?
maybe we need to put here or this station or
Arrived here.
but the sentence
Still place.
obviously here, so it's skipped.
Here, there. Here or there, you know, the train arrived there.
There or here.
Let's,
Some certain place.
yeah, some certain place.
The train from Montreal arrived at the station.
At the station. Again, now it's a place. Now you're talking about where. Okay, even here or there, as Heidi suggested, it's answering the where question.
Arrived home.
What's that?
Arrived home.
We arrived home. Ah, that's a tough one. Ooh, you guys are giving me really hard ones. Okay, we arrived home.
It is actually where?
At 4:30. It is, okay, it appears to be a noun, but we also must we don't use home is a very strange word in English. Okay, we went to the mall, we went to the train station, we went to Brazil, but we can never say we went to home. So even it's a very weird exception. Even though we demand any other place on earth to create a prepositional phrase, we arrived at home, or okay, you arrive at somewhere anyway. You don't arrive to anywhere. So it would actually be we arrived at home, but again, we don't need to or at with home. We don't put a prepositional we don't put a preposition there, although we kind of understand it is a preposition. So really, it would be we arrived at home, which is where. You would commonly see it like this. Anastasia is not incorrect to say we arrived home. You see this all the time. We just, you arrive at a place, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, it's a weird thing, but we just never put prepositions in front of home. Sometimes, I mean, you can do this at home, but you really can't do to home. Anyway, but it's still understood to be a prepositional phrase. I know, it's weird. English is crazy. You guys are bringing very interesting examples to light, and you're pointing out some weird exceptions where it's difficult. That's okay. It's challenging. Yeah, I don't even like this sentence. God, okay. Since the company was pleasant and the coffee both plentiful and good. See, this is also a weird sentence. We lingered in the restaurant for several hours. Here, okay, we in our second clause, we have a subordinate clause here, and then our independent clause, we, subject noun, lingered, and then it's followed by, which is frequently happens in English, in the restaurant, a place preposition, a preposition of place, prepositional phrase of place, and then another preposition of time. This is very normal. We lingered. What is linger? Do you know what linger means? Max?
Yes, staying that same place. Reluctant to move
Stay
to
in the
another
same place. That's right. When my neighbors cook dried fish, the smell lingers in the air for hours. It's really horrible. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And here's Andrew. Here's your example from earlier. The painting was hung on the south wall of the reception room. There you go. Almost exactly your example from earlier. Again, it acts as an adverb. This is an intransitive. All right. Again, many verbs can be either transitive or intransitive depending on their context in the sentence or the meaning, the definition. Obviously, many English words have multiple definitions. Okay, so we can see examples where they're one way one time and another way. We've already seen it, but okay, another example. According to the instructions, we must leave this goo in our hair for 20 minutes. Well, it's clearly transitive because leave what? This goo. Goo. There's a good word for you in English. Okay. Intransitive. We would like to stay longer, but we must leave. Okay. Here's a case where we see the verb hanging out at the end of a sentence. Clearly, there's nothing whatsoever behind it. All right? So it doesn't have to be followed by a prepositional phrase. I said that it often is, and that's true. It helps make the information more clear, often. It can exist just like this. There is obviously nothing behind leave, so there's no direct object or anything else. Okay. Watched. I think, Heidi, you brought this up earlier. The audience attentively watched the latest production of The Trojan Woman. Okay. The latest production. All right. It's your direct object. Okay. Check out this example. The cook watched while the new dishwasher surreptitiously picked up the fragments of the broken dish. Surreptitiously. Here's a great word. It's hard to say, even for me. Very carefully picked up the fragments of the broken dish. Okay, well, now, okay, look at this. This is interesting because what we have here, while the new dishwasher, blah, 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 okay, picked up here is transitive. He picked up what? The fragments. Okay. We have a dependent clause. This can't exist by itself. While the new dishwasher surreptitiously picked up the fragments of the broken dish is a dependent clause. It needs some help to make it a complete thought. In this case, the independent clause, the cook watched. Yep. The cook watched actually makes sense. This would be a correct sentence. Whoops. All by itself, it would be a correct sentence. The cook watched, because it is a complete idea. All right. You can form a sentence with just a subject, noun, and a verb. But clearly, if it still makes sense and you only have a subject, noun, and a verb, it has to be an intransitive verb. Obviously, there's no object. Okay. All right. On the other hand, the crowd moves across the field in an attempt to see the rock star getting into her helicopter. Okay. Intransitive. All right. Okay, across the field. All right, and then another one. Purpose, in an attempt. To see. Infinitive. Okay. A lot of stuff going on here, but what it boils down to is moves is not followed by an object noun. The crowd moves what is not there. Where and why across the field is there, and why in an attempt to see, but we don't have the crowd moves what. They're not moving anything. But of course, move can be used as a transitive verb. Every spring, William moves all boxes and trunks from one side of the attic to the other. Okay, we're looking at bigger sentences here, but still the idea, he moved all boxes and trunks. Well, okay, there is a what there. Okay, now we're going to try, well, you guys are going to try to make intransitive sentences. Whew, breathe deep, breathe deep. Anastasia, I'm going to start with you this time around.
Okay. Okay.
Intransitive.
Okay. This thing doesn't belong to you.
This thing, okay, belong. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Okay. This thing doesn't belong to you. Belong what? Uh-huh. Okay. 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 Interesting. Yeah, okay, belong. Tough word to make it into a transitive. You can say belong somewhere or belong, okay. Purpose, prepositional phrase. Okay, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good job. Okay, very good. Alejandro, can you try to form a intransitive verb sentence?
Intransitive.
Yeah. Hang on, I'll see if I can fetch you some examples.
I was playing.
Okay.
Hockey.
Playing what? Playing hockey. Yeah. Okay. Hockey or hooky?
Hockey.
Either way, it still answers the question what. It's still a noun, and it's still an object noun. Okay. All right. You can. It is possible. Okay. With this, I was playing hockey. All right. That's transitive. It's possible to make this intransitive. Okay. When were you playing? Or how long?
In my house.
I was playing in my house. Or where you were playing. I was playing in my house all night long.
I have
Okay.
a question. What is the difference
Yes.
between my house and at my house?
I was playing.
The preposition in my house, at my house.
Well, often it doesn't matter, and they're interchangeable. But there is a slight difference. It's a very good question. Anastasia, if I tell you, all right, Anastasia, at 3 o'clock, I'm going to meet you in the mall. Where am I going to meet you?
Inside the mall.
Yeah, probably by McDonald's or something. Okay, fine. We'll probably
Burger
figure out a
King.
place inside. Burger King, you prefer Burger King. Well, fine, okay. All right,
I don't
by the
prefer
fountain.
neither. Okay.
How about by the fountain? All right. You would very commonly say, "I will meet you in the mall by the fountain." What does it mean if I say, "I will meet you at the mall"?
Inside.
Probably, most likely, we're going to meet at the point that is considered to most likely be the main entrance where, okay, I'm at the mall. This is where you go in. This is the it of the mall. All right?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so at my house or in my house doesn't really matter unless you have a really big house. All right, if you're Bill Gates or somebody, you might have to say, I'll meet you in my house in the second bowling alley across from the swimming pool. You may have to give extra information, but for most of us, in my house or at my house pretty much means the same thing because it's not big enough to be discernible.
Fortunately, I don't have.
Yeah. Same here.
Don't say unfortunately, it's fortunately.
Fortunately?
I won't. Yeah, it's fortunately, because I won't get lost at my house.
Yeah. And you won't have to pay the taxes either.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Max, over to you. How about an intransitive verb sentence?
Okay, very short and easy. I grew up in Russia.
Okay, using grew up, a phrasal verb. Okay. All right. And here you have to use in, of course, because we always use in for states or countries or cities. And yep, clearly that says where. And even though, okay, we have a phrasal verb here. This is the verb construction. Grew up. Okay. Yep. Definitely. Is it possible, Max? You think you're going to get off with such an easy sentence? Okay. Make it tougher. Is it possible to use grew up or grow up, actually, present tense? Is it possible to use grow up as a transitive verb?
I grew up. No. No.
I'm looking at Anastasia's answer. Grew up vegetables. Yeah. It's funny. No, actually, I don't think it's possible. I grew up in the country. I grew up. It's possible to say in the 70s. It's possible to say when or where. Okay. Okay. I grew up. Okay.
What?
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's possible. I think you've got a phrasal verb here that is always, intransitive. There are others. Okay. Here's one. Another example of eat out. This is a phrasal verb that will not ever take an object noun. It's not possible. If you say we're going to eat out dinner this weekend, then that's incorrect grammar. It should never ever take an object noun. There are a few, a goodly number of intransitive phrasal verbs. So be aware of them. And Max just happens to hit one. Heidi, can you give us a sentence with an intransitive verb?
Okay. Teacher Oakley suddenly appeared on the screen and disappeared.
Okay. Suddenly appeared. And what? And then disappeared?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Oh, okay. Now, okay. Actually, this is interesting. Okay. Teacher Oakley suddenly appeared, and then on the screen, and then disappeared. Oh, this is interesting because she's given us a subject noun, an adverb, working on a verb, followed by a prepositional phrase, which is working as an adverb. It's explaining where he appeared, and then disappeared. So we actually have two intransitive verbs in the same sentence. This is a simple sentence, subject, verb, verb. No objects. Interesting. Good example. Thank you, Heidi.
Thank you.
And it's perfectly correct, by the way. Hello, Nader. Better late than
Hello,
never.
how are you?
Thank you. I'm fine.
Yes, but I've been following, so no problem.
Okay. Andrew, your turn. Can you give
I
us...
am going out this evening.
Yeah, okay, going out. Another one of these. To go out. Another one of these phrasal verbs. Go out. You notice we always say go out when we're going out, or go out why we're going out, to eat dinner, or to go to the movies. To have fun. That's a good reason to go out, Andrew. Either way, notice that we're always making a prepositional phrase of time or purpose. We don't really ever have a direct object noun. That's not true. I'm sorry. I could say I'm going out dancing, right? I could use a gerund. Yeah, I could. I could do that. I'm lying about that one. That one is possible. Nader, you want to try forming a sentence with an intransitive verb? I don't know if you've been watching.
Intransitive? Yes. So he died. He died yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, okay, died. Okay, well, there's one. Yeah. How do you put an object to the verb died? Yeah. Good luck with that one.
Okay. So if I say I want to die here.
Okay, let's try it.
So want here in transitive.
Wanted what? To die. Okay, this is
yes, transitive.
Is it transitive? Because we're using to die, the infinitive.
The object. Yes.
Well, this is an infinitive, right? To die. I wanted what? To die. Oh,
yes.
Interesting. Okay, in the same way that I mentioned dancing. I can use a gerund, or I can use an infinitive structure as a direct object. Okay, earlier I used a gerund. Same idea. gerund, INGs, and to verb can function as the same way. Well, it certainly does answer the question what? Going out what? Dancing. Wanted what? To die. So, yep, I would count that as a direct object. Very good. Okay. All right. Very tricky. Very tricky. Okay. We've still got a few minutes. So I mentioned it at the very beginning of class. Let's see if you guys can do linking verbs. Again, these are verbs that are followed by an adjective. Only an adjective. All right. If you remember what I said, I gave a couple examples, like the verb to be. He is angry. He seems angry. He smells funny. All right. Let's try this. Alejandro,
Yes.
can you give me a linking verb sentence?
Lincoln back.
Which followed by an adjective.
Yeah. I was exhausted.
Okay. Very good. That works. Okay. I was exhausted. Terrific. Anastasia?
Okay. After smoking cigarettes, he turned red.
Okay, wait a minute. After smoking cigarettes, I need a comma.
Red.
He
Yeah.
turned
He turned red.
red. He turned red. Oh, I didn't consider turn as a linking verb, but here I suppose that it actually is.
Yeah, because it's adjective.
It sure is. There's nothing else behind it but an adjective. Okay. He turned what? Is it an adjective or is it a noun here?
No. Red is an adjective, I would
Okay.
say.
All right.
Red.
It can function. Colors can function as a noun. It is a green. Well, not a golf green. Okay. We can use it. Sometimes we can use colors as nouns. Like what color painted is it? It's a blue, meaning a type of blue color, as a sort of category. But I guess. All right. I never considered that. I guess you're right. All right. You're considering it as a descriptive, right? So I guess you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Andrew, can you give me a linking verb?
It seems complicated.
But it's not too complicated because you got it right. Very good. Perfect. Good example. Heidi, I'm going to try a linking verb.
She became famous, popular, and rich.
Oh, became, yes. Okay, very good. Good example. And rich. All right, with multiple adjectives, clearly. She became. Okay, very good. Yes, to become. That's a good one. I often forget. Max.
Your plan smells fishy.
Oh. Okay, very good. Excellent. Smells, often verbs that have to do with senses, are linking verbs. Great example. A little bit idiomatic there. Good example. Nader.
This class is interesting.
Okay. All right. This class is in the English language, of course. It can be transitive, intransitive, or a linking verb. It can be stative, or dynamic. It can do all kinds of fun tricks. It's my favorite puppy in the verb circus. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys very much. I hope you learned a little something today about transitive, intransitive, and linking verbs. You guys did a great job, and I'll see you guys again real soon, I hope, here on Verbling. Take care.
Bye.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.